Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
I gotta fix the ending of that video. What's up, everybody? Molina Mike here. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me all right. I am on site, man. I'm in St. Louis. I'm actually in the hotel room. As you guys can see here. Let me know how the video's coming in, how the audio's coming in. It's like my first little test drive here. I would open up the blinds so that way you guys can see. I got a killer view. When it said Hyatt at the Arch here in St. Louis, they weren't lying. I mean, literally that thing they're known for here is like within walking distance, which is pretty sweet. So it's the Predator Pro Billiard Series going on right now, and the bank pool showdown starting up. Or not starting up, it has been going on. Exciting round just finished. Bergman defeated SVB. Filler defeated Federer. As I posted on Windows Open just a minute ago, and so it's pretty good, man. It's a good start to the event. Let's see. Chris says I can hear you, and James says see you and hear you. All right, sweet, man. Well, usually I got my man Uncle Mike joining me, but he's busy doing something, so it's just gonna be me riding solo a little bit today, which I don't usually like doing, if I'm being honest with you, but every now and again. It does come up. So let me know in the chat if you guys have any questions for me. I'm going to bring up the draw here in just a minute. I just kind of want to give you my first thoughts and impressions to kind of lead the show of the event, of the venue. So I took off over here this yesterday at about 4 a.m. And that's whenever I started traveling, making my way. And surprise, I don't know what it is. Like, I've only flown out of St. Louis like twice, and I don't remember it taking like that short amount of time to get over here, if I'm being honest with you. And so it was an easy flight getting over here. Got here around noon, quick check in. Big shout out to the Pro Billiard Series team. They hooked it up with the accommodations. I wouldn't be here without them, if I'm being honest with you, along with our sponsors as well for the next month. Cuetec, Seyberts, and of course Integrity Q is part of the expo experience. Gabby's in the chat. She was just messaging me. I'm gonna air her out right here. That's what I'm gonna do to start off the show. So Gabby was just texting me, and she was like, "What's up with you? You know, hating on Albin. You know, he plays banks pretty well, goes deep in Derby, blah blah blah, and he knows these tables pretty good." And I'm like, "Look, man, Albin ain't got no business being in a bank pool invitational tournament." I think he would tell you the same thing. But he's been the dark horse so far, man. Takes out Justin Hall in the last round. Started off with the solid win over Pius, and I like Pius in that matchup. And I said, you know what? She said, my money's on Albin. I said, me and you, we're gonna fire a little sweater on it. And so we did. We will. I'm locking you up, and now it's on the record officially, Gabby. Cliff Tyler says, are you going to the expo from here? So the way that the schedule, or my schedule, I should say, was originally supposed to work out was I was going to come over here, then fly to Philly. From Philly, I'd go home. And I'd go back home for, I don't know, like a week ish, somewhere around there. And then I would go back to Sacramento because we got the Marquez Memorial coming up, which is always a bittersweet tournament to go and have. But Gabby says I'm the worst. I'm gonna air it out, Gabby. It's on the record now. But I was talking with Desiree yesterday, Oscar and Desiree, and kind of like trying to figure out my flight information and all these things. And of course, as everybody knows, you know, flights are just through the roof right now. And long story short, I'm going from here to Philly. Philly, I'm going to SAC, and then I'm basically going to be on the road now for a solid month straight, which I was not preparing for by any means. So a bit of a twist, but you know, noticing all the expenses and everything like all these players do, it makes me just really one, appreciate an event like this, which gives them a couple of shots at making some money, which is cool. And two, you know, it brings in different dynamics when it comes to the female players being involved, the mixed doubles as well, their own separate individual tournament. And so it just gives fans a ton of options, which is starting off today. Aaron Sullivan says, anyone know why they aren't playing with the new Predator 9 foots that they premiered in Vegas? You know, that's a good question, Aaron. when I walked into the practice room yesterday, I was expecting the same thing, just like how they had out there in Vegas, and so I was just as surprised. I don't know the reasoning behind it. If I'm being honest with you, I'm looking at the cloth and all that, and it's Simonis and Airmyth, or not Simonis and Predator version, just like they had out there in Vegas. And so, but I was surprised they went with this model table. Um, yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you. I know that there was a lot of praise when it comes to the way that the conditions were and the quality of the equipment out there in Vegas. Out here, players are struggling a little bit, and of course, it's raining outside and all this, and so that's going to play a bit of a factor as well. But along with that, everything's fresh and new, and so they're not broken in, and guys aren't comfortable right now. You can see that from some of the confidence of some of these guys on the banking side of things. Unfortunately, this is a 1 day, wham bam, thank you, ma'am, kind of tournament. So they're going to be barreling through it. So there's no time for them to kind of get comfortable. But for the main event, though, they'll at least they'll have some experience out there, which is cool. So. Back salad front blunt says turn the hotel room into a dungeon. Look, I'm a guy. I love natural light. Usually, this room is lit up with the windows open morning, noon, and night. And so, but I got to get the lighting right in here. And anytime I'm away from the house, it's always a bit of a challenge. But like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of content while I'm here, and doing the show is just a part of it. So I messaged my man Mike DeLauder to see if he was watching, to see if he'd like to come on and kind of talk banks, because Mike's a bank pool specialist, and there's a lot of guys that like a DeLauder, Evan Lunda, Tony Cho, and guys like that I wish we would have seen here. It being attached to a world championship, and kudos to all these guys who were in it. And then along with that, they're also getting an invitation to the World 8-Ball Championship. So you're going to see a Justin Bergman play in the first World Championship that I can remember him playing in forever. Justin Hall the same way. And so with that, there's only limited spots. And so, I'm assuming that's the reason why some of these guys didn't get the nod, so to speak. But it gives them something to work towards, something to kind of aspire towards. At the same time, just you got to go and attend and kind of to some degree, pay some dues to some aspects in regards to playing more Pro Billiard Series events, and kind of gives you more reason to take some swings if you're some of these American players. But I'd love to see like an Evan Lunda type guy. I'd love to see Neil Jacobs, which we just got a chance to check him out there in Las Vegas. The Lauder, like I mentioned, but Back salad front blunt says Bergman. Man, let me tell you, seeing Bergman on the list was like number one that I wanted to see. Last time I saw Justin, outside of like being a fan and at the house and sweating ultimate pool stuff, and I kind of take that with a bit of a grain of salt, because it's on the bar table. I know Justin is excellent on the bar table. I don't even want to say like that's his specialty, because he's just an all around great player. But I've seen like lesser players, have moments on the bar table. And so anytime I don't even want to say dominance, but just consistency, it's always like, okay, I want to see how you fare on the 9 foot. And I haven't gotten very many options like you guys have to sweat Justin playing on the 9 foot. Obviously, this is a different story. We're in his backyard, we're in his hometown, which is super cool. And yeah, man, it was great seeing him here. He just came off a win after beating Shane on winner's side. So he's the only American through to winner qualifications, joining Albin Ocean, joining Josh Filler, and of course, joining Roberto Gomez, who, by the way, we didn't really give a lot of love to Roberto on the show whenever we were previewing it. But as I've been looking towards last year's bank pool showdown, whatever it was, and he was in the finals against Billy. So seeing him start this event off with 2 wins, kind of a surprise, but not really after reflecting on that. William says on a honest note, I like diamonds better than predators. Yeah, I mean, listen, everyone's got their own taste, their own flavor, and completely get it. And players are the same way, So at the end of the day, though, this is what I didn't learn until coming over here was that, so this particular invitational, I mean, for one, it is an invitational in every sense of the word, right? You have to get an invite in order to get in, but like guys are getting paid no matter what. So basically, you're getting, I think, even if you were to go 2 and out, you're still getting 875 or something along those lines. Like it's above $700 if I remember right. And imagine that, like there's no buy-in. I mean, of course you have expenses for coming over here, but for being invited to the tournament, you're getting paid out even if you go 2-0, and then you also can parlay that into a World 8 Ball Championship run. So who knows what that may turn into for some of these guys that you may not have gotten to see otherwise. So um, but yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that I feel like the Pro Billiard Series is onto. If I'm being honest with you, even on whether you're talking WPBA stuff or matchroom events or whatever, and anywhere in life, man. Like right now, value on your money is so vital, and especially for in a sport in which we're already struggling financially, especially when you think about the professional side of things. It's like giving guys more value and finding creative ways to go and do that is going to be the utmost importance because, guys have to make some money. Guys have to go and make a living. And so, how the sponsorship money is going to go and be allocated towards events and how they go and include multiple disciplines throughout this is something that I really am a fan of. And it's a world class field, man. Even outside of just the bank pool. But that's where we're at today. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get Uncle Mike on the show. I'm gonna turn off the chat here for just a minute, but I can still see him. So hit me up with any questions you guys have. Like I said, I can take a look at them even though they won't be on screen. I did get a chance. We're like literally, if I open the window over there, I can literally see Busch Stadium. So I'm like within walking distance of where the Cardinals play, and I got to have dinner out there last night. I didn't go to the game after all because I was just real worn out from traveling so early in the morning. But yeah, I mean the hotel is super nice. The ballroom is class as well. They got, I want to say 16, 18 tables in the main area. Plus they have an additional 6 tables in the players lounge for players to go and practice on, which is isolated and separate. I mean, in the sense of like it being in a different room, but it's right next to the ballroom. And so players have their own space in order to go and warm up. Right now, players are hitting balls on one side while the Bank Pool Invitational is going on as well. And so they really did a solid job, man. I mean, we're in the middle of a real busy area, which is cool. It was like a 15-20 minute drive from the airport. So Uber was like $40 or whatever it was. You got a Starbucks here. You got a couple of nice restaurants immediately here. Plus in the area, it's massive as well as far as options. Um, Fitness center. I mean, everything is just really, really nice here at this hotel. And like, I'm going back and forth from my room to the venue within 2-3 minutes. I mean, like from floor to floor. And so, um, I thoroughly enjoy that, just the convenience of it, being able to like, I love staying on site when it comes to things, but even whenever you're on site, like you're having to go a long distance, it reminds me of like the Rio where you're walking that long hallway, or, think about Derby where you're walking the long corridor or whatever. And so here there's a lot of like positives with it. And I didn't know what to expect because I didn't Google the hotel or anything before I came over here, but I was like shocked. I mean, it's super nice out here. Um, Fan wise, starting off, it's Bankpool. Although it is day one and a lot of champions are in town, I was walking to go work out earlier, or no, I was going downstairs to get something, and I seen Rublin's in, so the women are coming in as well right now, and so yeah, there's more players that are coming in and showing up for the event, which is great. And really, it's a long stretch for both the men and the women out here in the states. I mean, the women have the U.S. Open event coming up for the WPBA side of things, so they're staying through the expo. Even though there's no formal women's event out there on the expo, but and then of course the men are going out there and playing, and then they're going to end up playing. I think I want to say there's a lot of other things coming up, even following that as well. William says, "What platform are you watching from?" So you guys can check out all the matches on YouTube. Go to Pro Billiard Series, and if they're not, there's 4 tables I want to say all together that are being streamed. I think 2 of them have commentary, 2 of them don't. And then, of course, if you follow your favorite players on social media, because if they're playing outside of the 4 tables, they have the liberty of streaming their matches. Now, that's not to say that they will, but they at least have that ability. The Justin and Shane one, I was kind of annoyed because I wish it would have been streamed. They had Roberto and Shaw on TV table along with Filler Federer. No arguments with Filler Federer. No, even really arguments with Shaw and Roberto, given Roberto's deep run last year. Although Jason, I think he had 2 TV table matches, which is kind of in a bank pool tournament. So that's kind of keep that in mind. But yeah, I would have really wished that the SVB and Bergman match was streamed. I mean, that was a big fail there. You can't not have those two guys streamed or not streamed, I should say, for fans at home, even if it is on an outside table, which I'm perfectly good with. But you at least got to have fans give the ability to go and watch a match like that. I mean, it's fucking bank pool and it's two top Americans. So, but again, either way, like that's one of the few knocks that I would say when it comes to like the way the event's gone on so far for me. Back salad front blunt says thanks for the updates and insight. Hey, listen, I'm here for you guys, the fans, and I'm a fan myself, so whatever I can do to provide like information or whatever. And so Bankpool Artist says, where can you watch on YouTube? Check out Pro Billiard Series is usually what I Google, not Google, but I'll go on YouTube and search up, and then you'll be able to find the table listings there. 4 winners are through, like I mentioned, you guys, and I'm going to bring up the bracket right now. It's like I said, just bear with me here. I'm trying to let me switch these out because you guys want to see results and not my mug. The day started off at 9 a.m., which I was a little like for pool players. I mean, 9 a.m. really, but whatever, it's cool. And I get it because bank pool can drag on. So getting the early start, I completely get it. All jokes aside, Roberto Gomez defeated John Moore. John's been on a fucking tear lately, and so like I said, when I first saw that, I was like, damn, man, Roberto's playing good, but he's got Pro Billiard Series experience. He's done well in the only bank thing they've had out here to this point, to this date, I should say. And so I wouldn't have imagined 3-0. And John, for that matter, is a workhorse. I mean, besides the fact that he's hitting the ball good, when I came in yesterday to go and sweat the venue, he was one of the few guys who were there hitting balls. I mean, I saw Josh, I saw Pia, I saw, Albin Ocean, I saw some Polish guys. And so, but John's always there just putting in the work ahead of time. And so he loses to Roberto in the opening match. Another blockbuster one they had on TV table was Billy Thorpe and Jason Shaw. Billy, of course, being the defending champ of the banking tournament they had here in Vegas, I think last year, loses to Jason. I'm not going to lie. I was really surprised at that result. Given the score line at 3-1, I would have favored Billy in that matchup. Although from a betting standpoint, I can see why a lot of guys wouldn't have minded either side of that. But Billy loses to Jason to go and get things kicked off for his, I don't want to say his next tournament up when it comes to the Pro Billiard Series and banking. And so loses to Jason in that one. Filler facing Vitali, that one was 3-0. Carlo Biotto loses to Federer 3-0. And anytime you see Federer and Carlo on the schedule, you want to go and watch it. This was no different. The few games that I did see, they were close in ball count, despite the fact that it was a lopsided scoreline of 3-0. Down below that, Bergman and Levan. Look, Levan does really good in banks, like me and Uncle Mike talked about the other day. And so I would have picked him as one of my few guys who I really like to go deep in this tournament. He loses to Justin Hill. And I think for me, it just says more about Justin and where his overall game is at more than it does for me and Levan. Levan doesn't play a whole lot of Pro Billiard Series events in general. And so, of course, Justin, I don't think he ever has that I can think about it. But I think it's just a credit to Justin's skill set, and it's funny because I don't think Justin's really been much of a morning match kind of guy. Them starting at 9 a.m. gave me further. I would have liked Levan a little bit more if I was betting on it, but Justin's just an animal, man. He's in his backyard, and so he takes off Levan right there. Shane was the last match of that first round, defeated Jeff DeLuna, Hill. Sky, pretty tough draw, and I say that because of this opening matchup facing Justin Hall. Now, look, Justin never plays these events. The fact that he got invited to it is super cool, though. I mean, like extremely, extremely cool. And when I was talking with Vincent, he said, "Listen, the guy just won Derby. How can we not invite him?" And I get it. And by the way, I love the fact that they're, you know, keep their finger on the pulse when it comes to how guys are doing, even though Derby is not their event, right? It's not the Pro Billiard Series event, and so for them to kind of give it, not to kind of to give him an invitation because of him being the defending bank pool champion out there at Derby, I thought was just class. Personally, he parlayed that into a first round victory over Sky Woodward, which is cool. And Sky, listen, we all know he's a machine when it comes to banking the ball. Very much a feel guy, super confident and consistent. Like all the rest of the players, there's some growing pains being out here, especially when it comes to banking the ball on these tables and these conditions and the rain and all these things. But Justin, to his credit, I think it could have gone either way. And again, 3-2, there ain't no shame in losing there. Albin, like I mentioned to start the show, and like I posted earlier on Windows Open, defeats PS 3-0. And I was kind of like, I like PS's bank game personally. Not the most exciting for either one of those guys, if I'm being honest with you. And when I saw Albin practicing yesterday, like I mentioned, like he might as well have been hitting the ball blind. Like he is, and Albin's a confidence kind of guy, for better or worse, right? Like either he's really feeling it and can really hit a world championship gear like he has, or like he can kind of get in his head a little bit. And so when I saw him struggle warming up and practicing yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm liking PS even more. But to his credit, Albin pulled it off. I got to check out a little bit of that match. And there was definitely some frustration. There was some still trying to figure things out. Not a lot of confidence. A mix of like trying to float the ball versus shotgunning balls in, depending on how the bank laid. But definitely, you can see that those guys were frustrated. At least I could. Slim says, "Do you think it could lead to more events if the experience is good for Hall?" I hope so, and I hope it's like that for a lot of guys. I don't think, historically speaking, like this event's a little different than a typical Pro Billiard Series event in the sense of like it's not short format races for these guys, right? Like it's not a race to 4 when you're playing rotation or whatever. And while that style has grown on me over the years, I think it's also grown on a lot of players in the overall, and I think they've settled on a good format there. But I hope there's more participation, especially like. Listen, there's not a lot of events going on here in the States where you have this kind of bang for your buck, this kind of added money for events, and this type of twist when it comes to the format. And so I hope guys show some appreciation by just showing up and coming out and playing these events. And so, and I think you're starting to see that now when it comes to the quality of the field. Whereas 2 years ago we didn't have that, and you can't. I've said this before, but you can't have the circus without the clowns, and so you got to have players. You got to have guys who are, you gotta have guys who are showing up to go and attend, and fans want to see that. And it's no different whether you're playing banks, you're playing one pocket, rotation, 8 ball, whatever. Like you want to see the who's who. The game already struggles enough as it is, I feel like, just to kind of keep eyes and attention on it. And so, but making sure we got top guys is a priority. Winners qualification kicked off at 11. This is the round that just finished off. Roberto gets another win under his belt, defeating Jason Shaw 3-1. I got to sweat this next matchup. The Filler and Feder won at least the first 2 games. And I know the feed went out for some of you guys on YouTube, or for a lot of you guys, I should say. It was box office 3-1 in favor of Filler. I left after 2 games or 2.5 games, somewhere around there, to go check out Justin and Shane. Because again, I want to see more of Justin. Me not having seen him for the last few years, especially on the 9-foot, like I'm intrigued to see how he's hitting the ball, especially against a matchup, like Shane, which I never get to see on the 9-foot. So, but Feder and Filler. Feder started off with like a 5 and out, I think, once he got going, which was just sick. And I thought once he got on the board that, like, okay. And in my opinion, I think Federer's the best bank pool player on the planet, bar none. Like, despite the fact that he loses to Filler, I got a lot of confidence for the way that dude hits the ball, as do a lot of people. He's really just kind of, to me, he's at the top of the mountain. And I know Josh is an alien, not of this planet, and can certainly have this kind of score line every day. But against Federer. But anytime these two dudes match up, I mean, you're in for something pretty special. I've seen them on outside tables at Derby. I've seen them on TV tables at Derby. I've seen them in matchroom events. I've seen them all over the place. Anytime these two guys dance, and they really are two guys who are at the top of the sport in general, and two of the best all around players, in my opinion. I would love to see these guys go and play just an all around tournament, not in 10 ball Federer stealing, but I would love to see them play some kind of all around, including Banks in one pocket, and maybe even, if they can't do 10 ball, we'll do 9 ball, maybe 8 ball. But Federer's break on 10 ball is just too stout, in my opinion. Bergman defeated SVB. So I'll tell you guys a funny story. I was going to go live earlier. And then as I was looking on my phone, I saw one. It was 2-2 for Shane and Bergman, which I was like, okay, it's Hill. Do I go back down? I'm in my hotel. And then I saw it was 2-0 in ball count in favor of Bergman. And I said, fuck it. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going. I'm on my way. So I grabbed my jacket, headed out the door. And then as soon as I get down there, I run into Michelle, and she's like, it's over. Justin won. And I'm like, but which I was gonna try to record a little bit and talk to Justin, but unfortunately the match ended to his favor. And so Shane goes off to the one loss side, which I'll preview here in just a second. Albin Ocean defeated Justin Hall, which was just, you want to talk in bank pool. Albin beating Justin is probably like, if I were to go and put a money line on it, I probably would have given Justin like 2-1 favorite over Albin, easily playing bank pool. And so for Albin to go and get the win under that match, I didn't watch it, so I'm not going to say like he did this better or that better or whatever. Obviously, Albin got the win. But yeah, I'm just like shocked and blown away, and hopefully he can parlay that into an even further run, although he's already sitting pretty good in the Final Four on the winner's side. Or the Final Eight, I should say, on the winner's side. He'll be drawing one of the losers, which is just crazy stacked right now. I see my man Collins in the chat. I was gonna text you, dude, to see if you wanted to come and do a show with me when I didn't hear from DeLauder, but I figured you were at work. Jenny Ann says Filler is consistent. He is, man. He really is. He just epitomizes that word every in every measure of the sense, man. Does consistency in Josh Filler. No matter the game, he's gonna have a puncher's chance. Even though like that may not be his best game, it doesn't matter, because even his like B or C level type game, like performance in certain games, is still worlds better than majority of other humans. On the loser side of things, Billy takes out John Mora 3-0. And that match was over quick, too, by the way. Vitali going 2-out. That was a bit of a shocker. Although losing to Carlo, there's no shame in that. Loses 3-0. Levan going 2-out again, especially to Jeff, of all guys. No disrespect, but like I would have massively favored Levan in that matchup. Jeff wins 3-1. Levan's out. Patsura's out. Mora's out. 3 guys who I thought had a good chance at going really deep in this tournament. They're now 2-out. And then PS loses to Sky. Up next, this is the next round of matches that is actually going to get kicked off here in just a minute. So you guys go check out Pro Billiard Series TV. Billy and Justin Hall, go flip a coin here. I'm giving the edge to Billy just because of the experience factor playing on these predator tables and in that environment. But would I be surprised if it goes 3-2 in favor of Justin or 3-1 in favor of Justin? No, I wouldn't. Because Justin's that kind of animal when it comes to this game, and so I'm going to be sweating that after I go work out here in a little bit. Carlo and Shane Van Boning, 2 world champions. One guy is going to be out, which is crazy, especially at this part of the tournament. But make sure and stay tuned for that as well. Federer and Jeff, I think Federer's a massive, massive, massive favorite, probably close to like 3-1 on the money, if I'm being honest with you. I really like Federer in that matchup, and I still like him to go deep, if not win this tournament. And then down below, Sky versus Jason Shaw, a rematch of the Mosconi Cup. And usually any other game, well, anything not rotation, I'm picking Sky. This not being rotation, I'm picking Sky. Otherwise, I'd pick Jason. But you want to talk about a dangerous match for the kid from Kentucky who knows how to bank. That's about as dangerous as it gets, because Jason, like I said, defeated Billy earlier. So he's going to be feeling a little bit of confidence. Plus, he's lethal once he gets comfortable. These are the 4 guys who are in through to the quarterfinal. Like you guys can see there, Roberto, Filler, Bergman, and Albin. Like I said, I text when Gabby was texting me. I said, "Listen, I'll bet a little dinner bet on whoever comes out of the one loss side because the one loss side is just so stacked. No matter who Albin faces." And I was kind of like tongue in cheek, but like, look at, I mean, he's going to draw one of the winners here, and I don't care who it is. Any of these guys are more than capable. And listen, I love Albin. He's extremely decorated, so consistent, all these things. But in bank pool, I'm not a buyer, at least not yet. Uh, Look, Josh being on that side with Roberto Bergman, big question mark because we just haven't seen enough. But uh, certainly he's going to be having the crowd with him as well, which is going to be massive because as he continues to have wins and it being in his hometown, I think the room is going to thicken up a little bit with fans, and they're going to be rooting for old Justin Bergman to go through. Jay Roby says SVB and Carlo on table 4. So you guys should be able to sweat all those going on right now that are just about to get kicked off. And then I think the quarterfinals is going to get started at 5 p.m. tonight. So if you love bank pool, make sure and go follow those pages because they're going to be live throughout the entire day. This tournament actually finishes today, so they're running through it until it's over with. So go sweat these 4 matches on the one loss side starting right now. I'm gonna get out of here because 1, I don't like doing shows by myself, and 2, because I want to go sweat some matches. But I'm gonna go and try to get a little bit of a workout in, even though I'm feeling a little like I'm just congested and just feeling like I'm in the mud right now, if I'm being honest with you. But I'm gonna try to talk to some players. I'm gonna try to get a couple interviews. Gonna try to do some more stuff throughout the week. Barely getting going out here in St. Louis, but hey, thanks everybody for hanging out with me to this point. Like I said, it wasn't anything that I was too crazy about, but I'm gonna be live some more, and if I gotta do it solo, then so be it. Michelle says matches are supposed to be starting right now, Mike, and I'm heading down to go and watch Billy and Justin. So as am I. Go enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Go watch some pool. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Not here. I mean, if you do it here, cool, but make sure and go do it out there on the Pro Billiard Series as well. We'll see you guys.